Hello, I am roaringbug and welcome to my Sims 4 speed build. Today I am building a colonial house and it is part of a series of traditional suburban houses that I've been making in The Sims. And if you like this house, you can get off the gallery at roaringbug, and if you want to follow me on my various social media, you can in my video description. So this build is, like I said, part of my base game normal looking houses that I've been making lately. I tend to like building Victorian houses, but I've been doing pretty good lately just making this traditional style of home. And right now what you're seeing is the hard part, which is the roofing and doing the basic bones of the house. So again, if you have never watched my channel before, I don't use floor plans. I usually just base my builds on pictures. Usually I only have like the front picture of a house and I kind of just fudge the rest. So I think my reference picture did have some actual floor plans with it, but I didn't really use them because it's really hard to translate size in The Sims 4 because everything is locked into these little grid boxes. How I'm building, you see everything's like in a grid box. It doesn't translate that well in real life because certain objects don't just fit one little square box. Sometimes they're a little bit smaller, sometimes they're a little bit bigger. So I'm just trying to make the house essentially just keep the spirit of what the build is. And you can see that I'm going through like the different windows, and I decided I wanted to make a custom shutter. So I'm using this air vent and trying to finagle a shutter, and I'm using the gallery when you look at it when you save it to see if it looks like it's in the right position, because it's really hard to see if things are matched correctly when you're in build mode right now, because I'm looking at everything from a slightly higher angle. So I'm not getting like a straightforward shot of what the house looks like. So that's why I've been using basically the gallery pictures to try and figure out if I'm putting things in the right spot or not. So if you see like I'm saving and I go back and forth, it's because I'm checking. I'm just making sure everything looks like it's in the right spot. So I don't really go too crazy with this design. It just has two wallpapers on the outside, the brick and the white siding, and well, no, actually three, because I used one for the garage. So that garage door is actually just a wallpaper. It's meant to be like crown molding that you would see like inside a house, or paneling. And I use these debug fence pole things. They look like these stone pillars, and I'm just kind of fiddling with them, trying to get them in the right spot, because if I don't, I notice that they were like clipping inside the house. And I'm just scooching the house over a little bit just so that I can have this planter look right. And I'm not connecting the fences, that fence thing that's supposed to be like the planter. You see I'm leaving like a space. It's not touching the house. That's because if you put a fence connecting to a house and then you raise the house on a platform, the fence will jump on a platform as well. So I'm leaving it unconnected until I'm done. So, you know, I'm very methodical here. I'm really trying to just do all of the exterior of the house and working my way in. So I've been trying to like keep a good flow, trying to do everything like in a way that makes sense in an orderly fashion, just so that you don't see me jumping around back and forth all over the house. So that's why I'm trying to do my builds, I don't know, in a way that makes sense. So I found this poll in the debug catalog, and it's like the basic poll I wish The Sims did have. But, you know, let me know, like, would you also want just a basic poll in The Sims? Build and buy catalog. But yeah, so here I am just adding cars and trash cans, you know, trying to add that realism to this house. I quite like this house. It has that, you know, realistic vibe. Like if you saw it from like out of the Sims context, you know, it looks like a very normal house. But you know, I don't really come across houses like this. I'm sure I mentioned it before, but like I live in New York, and these types of houses are not that common. Like apartment building living is more the common thing in New York. It's kind of one of the reasons why it's probably controversial, but I don't really enjoy the city living pack. Like I know a lot of people like the city living pack in The Sims 4 because they like the aesthetics. They like living in like a city landscape with like apartments and stuff, but I don't really like it. I guess I like what I don't have, which is, you know, these suburban homes. Oh, and this is my favorite bush in the debug catalog. All the landscaping is just debug landscaping. So I like it because it doesn't have any cost in-game. But yeah, I just use this bush all over the place. But yeah, it's like I like these homes because they look so quaint. Like space is such a commodity in the city. Like just having your own space. That's why people in New York seem rude, because we just don't have a lot of space. You know, like you have to learn to like live basically like elbow to elbow with some people depending on like your commute. So now I'm just trying to figure out this backyard. I just put this concrete because, you know, I figure that's pretty realistic. People usually have a lot of lawn or they have a lot of concrete in their backyard. And oh, thank God, I've remembered the mailbox, and I don't know why I'm back in the house. Yeah, I'm just getting rid of, oh, okay, I see why. I'm trying to make sure all the plants are not poking inside the house, which is kind of annoying. Okay, yeah, and I put these stairs down. Okay, so if you're having trouble building your own houses in The Sims, the first thing you need to do is basically figure out where you're going to put your stairs. And, you know, I know it looks like I know what I'm doing because I just put the stairs perfectly where I wanted it in this video, but it usually takes me a few tries. So if you feel like you're struggling with stairs, you're not alone. That's pretty normal. Like I struggle putting down stairs all the time, trying to figure out the placement of where everything should be. So right now I'm just doing a basic kind of design for the floor plan, just trying to figure out what goes and what should be there. So I usually put down this base game bed just to figure out where everything should be. So now I'm trying to figure out where to put a bathroom, because I try to put a bathroom per floor, but that doesn't always work. So, you know, I'm just trying to figure out like how should this space look and where should everything be oriented and what kind of hallway am I going to have. And I put another roof piece there because I keep seeing the outside wallpaper inside the house, and that's happening because the roof piece on top of the garage space is taller than the room it's intersecting. So because it's like taller than it, it's showing that outside. I don't know. Roofing is not cool. I mean, there's just so much you have to try and figure out with The Sims. I put lights over the garage in those little like dormer windows, but that space is not accessible. If you wanted to, I think you could probably make it accessible if you mess with the roof pieces enough. And maybe like, I don't know, stick like a bathroom there, or maybe try to work some other space there. But I just left it as just an empty decorative space just for the dormers. So I do very basic bathrooms, and now I'm doing my very basic 90s kitchen. So I think it becomes like a brown kitchen, like your basic 90s brown kitchen. And I just put like your basic stuff there. And I've been using like these outdoor lights as just indoor like pendant lights, because it's the best I can do with just base game. And this space here, I just put a dining table. I don't know if that is accessible all around, but I just wanted like a cute little space there just for this little kitchen. And I'm just putting like the same curtains everywhere. And this is a couch that is like locked behind some kind of gameplay in base game. I forgot. I think it's like a career lock, but I'm using like cheats to unlock all of the career items so I can use them to build. So frankly, I think that full couch in off-white is the best one in base game. And I did this corner TV thing. I usually put the TV over the mantle of the fireplace, but I think it was, if I had the orientation of the sofa and the living room set in the center of this room, it would take up too much space and it would look too spacious. So that's why I put it off to the side, so I can put this dining table closer to the pathway into the kitchen, because I think that would make more sense. So this is an open concept space in the living room. So the living room also has like a dining space, and I sectioned off the stairway in its own area, and it leads off into the garage space. And I think that's a pretty realistic flow for this house. Like I said, I didn't really use a floor plan, so I'm just kind of making it up as I go and seeing if it fits in the schematics and the limitations of The Sims. So I just turned this garage basically into a giant skill building room. So it just has all the items that you need for your Sims when you're playing. So like if they have a job or something and they need to do some skill building, it's in the house. And in the backyard, I just put like a barbecue and an area for them to eat. And this is when I added a greenhouse. So I just gave it the same colors as the house, so it looks like they're matchy-matchy and they belong together. So I just put like a glass like ceiling on a glass roof on this building, and I just use base game doors and windows to try and make this into an airy looking little greenhouse. Oh, and I drew a fence. That's like a line for a fence, the same thing that I did with the planters for the yard. It's so that the lights don't look like they're hanging off nothing. Essentially, like I want it to look like the lights are hanging off something in that greenhouse. So that's why I drew that fence through the roof. And I'm just trying to figure out this lighting, and I was like, this lighting is way too high. I mean, realistically, like you wouldn't have lights that high because the Sims are not that tall. It's all like perspective, and I just wanted to put some lights around the house and just test it out and see that it looks okay. And now I'm just going over with a light terrain paint everywhere, and I don't do too much because I didn't leave any kind of like dirt, so I don't have to do any kind of dirt path. It's just giving it a little bit of a shadow, just so the house has a little bit more levity that is there. And now I'm just furnishing these 3 bedrooms. So these are pretty generous sized bedrooms, and that's quite a luxury, and I think it looks pretty well because I like bedrooms that look not so tight. I mean, I could have made it look smaller, but you know, given this floor plan, I think it looks pretty good. So I think this house can fit like 6 Sims. So you can have parents, 2 teen/child, and you can have a toddler and an infant. And what I basically do is I furnish for every life stage in The Sims, because, you know, I don't know what the plans are for this house. I'm just building this house because I want to try and build it. So I don't really have any Sims in mind to live here. So I'm just doing furnishings that I think could fit any Sim. My own personal houses are kind of crazy. Like, I always leave space. Like, I might have like a rocket ship or, you know, some other crazy object in my home. Like, I might have horses. I mean, my gameplay style is very, I guess it's like kind of chaotic. Like, I don't know how other people play, but I like my Sims to be, I want them to have normal lives, but I like it when they're a little bit different. So yeah, this is more or less the end of my build. So thank you so much for watching and enjoy the screenshots. Goodbye.